Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and they-thems of all ages, welcome back to another exciting edition of Reality Slides, where I, your host, Matt McKinley, present an overview of how all of reality works and your spiritually broke ass in it in a simple set of slides. One quick note before we begin. As usual, I open my browser to check on Duluth and Dubuque and to make sure everything's okay and everything's just fine in the world. It's more about Trump and his immigration policies, which means everything's just great. It could be a lot worse. Think of your ancient ancestors. And as usual, my browser asks me to investigate what's new. And this, what's new in Bing? What's new in Chrome? And to this day, not one person still has ever clicked through to investigate. Not one person in the history of the world ever wanted to see what was new in their browser. Which brings us to our very first reality slide and point to ponder. How did you get here to Earth? At the simplest of levels, there are only two possibilities that could answer this question. Number one, you are the 4 trillionth generation of a flagellum. 2, you are a timeless spirit that incarnated into what is called the human body. Now, science will somehow, they're still holding on to number one, that you came from some single-celled organism. Matt, it's worse than that. Before that, it was like two amino acids humped or something like that on the back of a rock in a pool of goo or something like that. Isn't that from Star Trek, The Next Generation, the last episode? Look what you did, Picard. The amino acids are moving away from that pool of goo. You've destroyed the entire human race by canceling out the beginning of evolution, Captain Picard. Science is still trying to push that number one. Can you believe that? Who could possibly believe that? It's hard enough to believe. Look at your great-great-great-grandfather off to the right there. It's hard enough to believe you came from that. But one of my relatives looks just like that. But this is supposed to be ancient Neanderthal man. We came from one cell, some sort of one cell thing on a pool of goo, through marmot, through monkey man, monkeys riding horses, to what you are today. And people are still believing it. If that, we just end reality slides right here. This proves right there, Darwin is so ridiculous. It proves your spirit inside a human body. We basically can shut the slideshow down now, but I've prepared so much I have to show it to you. So, Matt, all of science and the scientists, who you admit are a lot smarter than you, they still believe in the basis of evolution and the core principles that we evolved from a lesser organism. And you come here, because you're really smart, Matt, and you say that's not the case, and the scientists are being fooled, and you admit you're from Davenport and you're not as smart as the scientists. And you called yourself, what did you call yourself, Matt? A truth researcher? You're one of those people. Look at the balloon boy. He's a conspiracy person. You're gonna try to say how the scientists are wrong and all the people that work for the big universities. And can I interject? There are about maybe 10,000 things that point to the fact that evolution is completely absurd and bullshit. This is what they try to pass off as our most ancient ancestor. This is Lucy, the partial set of bones. They didn't even find all the set of bones, just a partial set, like a hip bone connected to the thigh bone. They got like 5 bones, and they call, this is your ancestor, Lucy. And then somehow, via the models they put together in the Field Museum, or is it the Fields Museum in Chicago? Whatever that place is where they lie to you about the dinosaurs and all, that they try to show you, look, the human story begins here, it says, where all the little kids are lied to in the Field Museum in Chicago. And they're trying to pass this Lucifer, Lucy, you got some splaining to do about our evolution. They try to pass this off. Of course, it's just a big mockery, using Lucy as some sort of a shortened version of Lucifer, which is what they believe they are, in fooling the masses and the proletariat into believing this is where they came from. They're saying they're Lucifer and mocking it in the name Lucy, which is the partial set of bones I think is hanging up somewhere in the Fields Museum where they lie to people. Dear AI and Grok, can monkeys get sunburn? Yes, monkeys can get sunburn, it says per the AI overview. Well, many primates have fur or hair, no kidding, Pootie Tang Award, that provides some protection from the sun. They can still suffer from sunburn. Bull crap. Have you ever seen a monkey apply some sort of copper tone? What's the other brand called? Banana Boat? Or something like that, where they use 15 block 30 block. Have you ever seen a monkey say, I've had too much sun, I've got to go inside? Let's just say they can get sunburned, and it's all okay. It still feeds in my general point. The sun is the bringer of all life on the, I'm going to say it, the planet. I'm sorry. Oh no. It's the bringer of all life on the planet. What am I supposed to say? On the flat surface? It doesn't matter. It's the bringer of all life. So if evolution was real, the first thing that any sort of mammalian animal thing in any sort of a body, human, monkeys, rats, the first thing anything that's considered a mammal would have done is hundreds of millions of years ago, if things were real and what evolution puts forth and Darwin and his bullshit, it would have adapted to the sun, of course. And if it couldn't, through its regular skin, take in all the nutrients and stay outside to hunt for food and to get water, it couldn't stay outside all day, then it would become like your skin would be like an elephant's back. Look at your hand right now. It would be like an elephant's back. It would just have gotten thick. I mean, right? I mean, is this really a stretch? The human and the animalistic mammalian bodies would have adapted to the sun so people could stay out and continue to hunt and continue to get water. I mean, it's the first thing any mammalian body would have done if anything about Darwin was real. And then it would have worried about all the other adaptations, of which the humans tend to have none. I cut myself. I got to go to the doctor. Pam got bit by Zara once, and she said, it'll be okay. And then infection. More infection, close to sepsis or septic or whatever it's called. She had to go for a full shot of antibiotics just from a little cat bite. This human body didn't adapt over time. It was obviously put here. It was put here for our spiritually broke asses to have some sort of experience in. There's no evolution in anything. If there was evolution, not in the human, of course, we know that. There was no human evolution. Then in that case, we went backwards. We would have had to have been tougher 4,000 years ago. But the monkeys, if there was any sort of evolution, they just stood still. They would at least be riding horses by now. You could call this reality slide 1B. It's the same initial question as the first reality slide. How did you get here to Earth? But we have to address this absurd aspect, which makes Darwin's theory of evolution look somewhat normal. This one's even worse. How did you get here? You came from an explosion in space called the Big Bang. It's so absurd, guys, I don't even know how to make fun of it anymore. It's so absurd. It's so ridiculous. 2, you're a timeless spirit that incarnated into what is called the human body. Whether it's a prison planet or you chose to incarnate, we'll get to all that with future reality slides. Relax. But I have to address number 1. Is science in the lecture halls of Cambridge and Harvard and Oxford and Yale, are they still pushing number 1? How could they possibly still be saying that to their class? I mean, it's like Tommy Boy, Blank Hancock was one of the framers of the Constitution. Herbie, he put in, I mean, this is more absurd than that. Writing in Herbie Hancock was one of the initial framers of the Constitution. Are they still, I can't fathom. Are they still pushing this? I think so. I don't even know how to talk about it. So let me get this straight. So your second, what is it? The second law of thermodynamics is entropy. Everything goes towards a state of chaos. Everything breaks down. A glass that shatters on the floor can never, ever, no matter how many trillions of years you wait, put itself back together. It's the theory of entropy, the second law of thermodynamics of the universe, etc. So in the biggest act of entropy, in human existence, if this was real, times a trillion to the trillionth power, the biggest act of entropy would be the Big Bang. Then from the biggest act of entropy, you scientists are real smart. You're from Davenport. You're saying that somehow life formed and went against it's not even worth, how are they still talking about this? This is mind-boggling. Anybody from Oxford or Cambridge or Harvard or Yale, contact me, please. I want to go. What is that idiot that said 2 + 2 = 5 or whatever? He got into the Oxford Union Debate Hall. Terrence Howard, you let that idiot in and you won't let me in? Next reality slide, please. Did you, as spirit, agree to come here, or were you trapped and this is a prison planet. Before we continue with this reality slide, let me point out the greatest news of all time. In terms of material explanations and physical explanations as to how all this came to be, we have proved that to be completely absurd in reality slide 1A and 1B. We're not even going to look at physical explanations anymore. That's ridiculous and an insult to all of our intelligences, if that's even a word. We're just going to move forward as if we are spirit incarnating here, which by itself is the best news of all time. Even if you're trapped here and this is a prison planet, what do you think? You're never going to find a way out? I don't think we're trapped here, but even if we are, it's still better news than you came from a Big Bang and came from Monkey Man and the atheists are right and you're just going to go into the dirt and it's the end of existence. See, even the trapped is better than that. Anyway, I don't believe we are trapped. And I've talked about all the reasons I believe what I believe so many times over the years. I'm not going to spend too much time on each one, maybe just a minute or two. Number one, I would say if I was taking a podium against anybody that believed we're completely trapped here, why is it working so hard? Have you ever heard me say that? I know, old guard, you're tired of it. It's kind of important to continue to talk about. There should be an entire YouTube channel dedicated to it. If we're trapped, why is it working so hard to keep up its trick on a daily basis? Because it's trying to trick us on a daily basis, actually minute by minute and second by second. That means that ultimately we're responsible because it needs to influence us. Let me just ask a simple question to those that think we're trapped. Calling me, and I'm raising my hand. Why is it we're trapped, right? Like Andy Dufresne in Shawshank. How many times did Warden Norton come see Andy? Just that one time, right? Just to size him up. I'm glad to see you're reading this. Hands him the Bible, right? Do you have a favorite passages? The master of the house cometh, or whatever. Well, he only went to see him once. He doesn't have to worry about it. He's had his feet up, playing, doing Luke, I'm your father in front of the fan, because nobody could get out. At least they believed it was impenetrable. The Shawshank. If it was easy to get out, then they'd be working really hard. See, the minions working against us in terms of laying down their trick and their deception. Do they work really hard? Yeah, they do. Does that point to the fact that we're trapped? No, it points to the fact that it's up to us. This is pretty simple stuff, guys. If we were truly trapped, it wouldn't be working so hard in this life, especially since that light trap at death is so good. The light trap, we do this in every other video now. Oh, the love and the light when you die and you go in and your pets are in there and it's so good. Well, why is it working hard now on a trick? It doesn't add up, does it? Matt, you're already over your minute. Because it's working so hard, that's just number one, tells me that, wait a second, it's trying to influence me and my beliefs and my perception. That means that I'm in control, and it's trying to influence me and how I believe things actually work here. That means I'm ultimately in the driver's behind the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. I'm the one in control of everything. You're calling me the balloon boy? Yeah, you're the balloon boy, not Milk Minions. That's the greatest news of all time, folks. And the second aspect to this is if we're so trapped, why are there tens of thousands of spiritual messages with 99% being incredibly positive? I was going to say embedded and layered, but they're so obvious to us at this point. They're not even hidden anymore. They're not embedded. They're just Humpty Dumptys or stuffed Lennons, but that's only one aspect, like row, row, row your boat. Life is but a dream. Tells you about reality itself. Tells you about a little bit about who you are, some of these things. They're in movies, books, TV shows, poetry, songs, little sayings. I just watched Bagger Vance again the other day. I love Bagger Vance. It's not a movie about golf. It's a movie about life. And after he does certain things and he becomes a bigger person, leaves who he was behind, and Bagger says, I'm out of here. That golf tournament's not even over. I'm leaving. You're leaving me? He says. You don't need me anymore. Yes, I do. I need you. No, you don't. It's higher self. It's good. You can interpret it in so many different ways. I remember Howdy McCoskey gave a presentation on this, relating Arjuna and the Bhagavad Gita meeting with Krishna, the avatar of Vishnu, relating that to Captain Juna. And there's even Bagger Vance. There's multiple levels of reality and spiritual messages you can take. The last time I saw it, I saw the higher self message, where Bagger is like, I'm leaving you. He says, don't leave me. He says, I need you. No, you don't. Not anymore. A guide, a spiritual guide, whether it be higher self or something else. These messages are embedded everywhere, but it's a prison planet, right? Matt, it's just a mockery. These archonic beings, whoever in control here, yeah, they put the spiritual messages in thousands of different places because they have nothing better to do just to mock you. They will tell you a little bit about who you really are, and they know people like you, Matt, and people like you, people like me will notice. But it's a mockery, Matt. It's not a guide or anything. They like to play their little tricks, Matt. It's nothing more. Well, I guess that's one way you could see it, but I don't think when it's now we've noticed it in thousands of different places, so I must assume there's 10,000 more we've missed. No, I don't think they're just working hard to mock us. I'm sorry. It tells me, to me, it's messages about what the reality truly is, what it's supposed to be used for, who you really are. And it's not even that buried anymore. It's just plainly obvious to us. Of course, it is buried and it's not there to the popcorn cruncher or the person that saw Bagger. When I saw Bagger Vance the first time, of course, it's movie's got to be 14, 15 years old. I mean, we didn't know what we know now. I just saw a golf movie, but there was something about it. It was something even almost like my subconscious or unconscious was picking up that I was really drawn to it. And certain scenes were very moving to me for reasons back then I didn't even really understand. But these messages are for us, for those ready to move on, maybe ready to graduate or whatever, however you want to talk about it, whatever your belief set is. The popcorn cruncher in the movie theater is not going to see these things. Crunch. You going to the bathroom? Get me Whoppers, get me Junior Mints, get me Mike and Ike's, get me what else they sell in that shit. Get me M&M's, get me Raisinets. That's going to be $180. Get me large popcorn with extra butter and a large Coke, you son of a beach. That would be what I just spouted out there would be $400 today at a movie theater. We were sneaking shit in back in 1984 because we didn't want to pay the prices. Imagine what it is today. Kids come in with giant knapsacks full of, what's in that sack? My homework? You're not going to look in it, are you? You wouldn't, I don't know. I don't even know how they still sell that stuff at those prices, but I haven't been to a movie in the theater for, oh boy, 14 or 15 years, I think. Yeah, it's been a long time. I'd like to go back at some point. For our next point to ponder, there's no reason to use a reality slide when we have all of these posters from Bill we could choose from. And shame on me, I don't think I've ever shown you this one before. So let's look at the poster first, and it's perfect for our reality slide, which is, who are these minions here that serve this thing that we call Not Milk? There's a spiritual adversary here working against us. Are they the same as us? Are they different? What is their role? Are they supposed to be doing what they're doing, or did they hijack the reality? That's our next reality slide, but we'll use Bill's poster. It's a slight change on the famous James Earl Jones speech from Field of Dreams, and this is Bill Gates instead of Ray Kinsella. People will come, Bill. People will most definitely come. People will come, Bill, for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll arrive at your door, innocent as children. March 11th, which is the 33. 2020. See the V, first called pandemic. Field of Dreams? No, Field of Screams. When I heard how many people were on the ventilation unit in Italy, I let out a scream across my it's Field of Screams. And I believe he has Dr. F there. That's the demon from Childhood's End. Bill worked in Childhood's End and the demon, but with the face of Dr. F. People will come, Bill. They will most definitely come and believe in your two action vaccination solution, and most Bill will get boosters. Thank you, Bill. If I haven't shown this to you before, guys, shame on me. So the question is, for the reality slide, these minions that serve the spiritual adversary, these creeps, are they the same as you? Not are they in a body and flesh, and are they the same spiritually as you? And you know what I believe, but it's one of my favorite topics of all time to talk about. There's a spiritual adversary here to get in your way that I call Not Milk. Of course, it's very similar to a Christian's depiction of Satan. And it's clear to us who serve it. I mean, top-level minions are just so easy that we can see within seconds if a new one comes on the scene. But the old demon crew of Lady Gaga, Alec Baldwin, Melvin P. Gates, Dr. F. I'll take James Earl Jones and exclude him. I'm just going to pretend he wasn't part of this Hollywood crew because I like James Earl Jones movies. We'll leave him out of it for now. I mean, Bezo. I mean, there's so many that are at this Madonna. It's almost, I understand what Christian would say, Matt, they've been infiltrated by demons. And it does seem that way. I mean, I don't, in terms of how I'm discussing it or depicting it versus how a Christian would say a demon has taken over, I don't think there's much difference in terms, I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? These not milk minions and this whole infrastructure here is out to block the journey of a real spiritual being and what it's supposed to do for itself using this life and this incarnation. But the point is, let's not get too far astray from the main point of the reality slide that I never posted. I just used this instead. Are they the same as we are spiritually? And you know what I'm going to say, and you're going to mention Tony again, man. And yes, because it's so fascinating. It's so amazing. It's so true. There's no possible way, in my opinion, they are the same as we are spiritually. It's a different sort of spiritual entity. I know most of us don't want to believe that it's a spiritual entity at all, that it's something that could never be like us, that very close or becoming real boy, real girl Pinocchio. Tony called them the sequential incarnation. It's fascinating. They're just at a lower level. And you know what I'm going to do? Oh, that's just to make you feel good. I've done it a million times. It's so fascinating to me. I could make every single video at the channel about the difference between you and me and Madonna or Bill. What is that spiritual entity that does what it does? And why does it do what it why does it do what it does? It serves this thing. It serves not milk. Was it promised before its incarnation of material rewards and sick sexual pleasures on magenta speedboats? What is it? I mean, everybody listening to this is so far past that materialistic bullshit. And what is this reality? You know, Tony said they're game addicted, and that really resonated with me. And when I told you what he said, that resonated with many of you too. That's it. They're unwilling to progress. They're game addicted. It is a different spiritual entity. But I think at this point, you know, if the Not Milk and the Minions are listening to me, why do you continue to do? I mean, you've probably made contract with something like Satan where you can't exactly just walk away. You know, you can't make a deal with Don Corleone and the Five Families and say, I'm not going to deliver your bread next Tuesday. If you've made a deal, but at some point, I mean, can't you just see that you're just spinning your wheels? Our situation, a real spiritual being's situation in this place called Earth is tough. It's tough, man. Sometimes we don't want to get out of bed in the morning. We don't know who we are. We don't know where we came from. We're confused every day. We're emotionally wrecked and we're nostalgic. We cry at the drop of a hat. It's tough, but you have to progress. Bill, you have not who made the poster. Bill's like us. Melvin P. Sorry, I should just call Melvin Bezo. To progress, at some point you need to take the plunge and come in here as we did. Truly, Tommy, the deaf, dumb, and blind kid, being confused, her having a very difficult incarnation with trauma and emotional strife and pain and suffering. It's necessary for what we signed up for. Remember the rule of opposites. It's never been proven wrong. Who's on top in this little place? Who has all the billions and all the power and all the influence, and they get to walk down the red carpet and people actually care? Well, not you and I. People in general care what they have to say. Ew! And their microphones are put in front of their face. And these people, these minions are on top here. The rule of opposites then says, who's more advanced? We are the ones rejected by this system. The rule of opposites has never been proven wrong. If you're a big shot here, if somebody listening to me is going to get the key to the city in a big, what is tonight, Saturday, a big event, a big gala held for you, and you're going to get the key to the city, and you're going to get other not milk rewards. If somebody listening to me is going to get all those things, you're really in trouble. You're screwed. You're really screwing up your life. It's the rule of opposites. If you're being rejected at every turn and now this is to a degree that this can be a justification. Matt, I'm going to become truly homeless because that will make me a winner per your metrics. Okay. Let's not take it too far, but in general, anybody going to be walking down the red carpet tonight? Anybody going to have a microphone put in front of them asking what they think? No, you understand what I'm saying here. Don't take it too far. Okay, don't go crawling into that cardboard box tonight and say, now I'm truly a winner. To a degree. But those on top here, rule of opposites, mean where it counts most spiritually, they're at the bottom, of course. Not just saying this to make ourselves feel good. Come on, sir. It's obvious. Those on top, so they have to have this. We're basically having a low experience. The people listening to me, by any metric or standard, we're low in this place. That means we're the winners. They're the, the losers. Matt, this is the ultimate rationalization. Remember, every time I do this, Larry Silverfish cuts me up. Oh, you people just trying to make yourselves feel better. It's so clear that this is how it works. Rule of opposites. So, not look. You may have a friend of a friend whose husband does well and got an inheritance, and they have a few $1 million. That's not. That's not. Is that in the level of a Klaus Schwab or a Melvin or a Bezos or an Alec Baldwin or the people that the Bush family, the Bushes? That level is just. I mean, I don't want to accuse somebody at middle level that I don't know who they truly are. I mean, but at this level, not James Earl Jones. Let's leave him alone. At Melvin P. on the right with his C the V 19 T-shirt, Bill has put him into a C the V 19 T-shirt. Oh, that's he's put the head right on Kevin Costner's Field of Dreams body from the movie poster. Man, look, if you really need a big monitor to appreciate all that Bill does in this, it doesn't work on a phone. I mean, did you see what it looks like missile silos in the back from Kim Jong Un? But that's the from the renting of the Action Jackson Nation. He's got thousands of them back there. There's little details in a lot of what Bill does, and which only can be seen with a big monitor. But anyway, so the rule of opposites, it's never been broken. There's no doubt that these people are spiritually different than us. And I was going to say earlier, but by this notion, Matt, if progression is somewhat similar for all the different types of spirits here, we might be at different levels, but if the progression is similar and what the next step or stage of the progression may be is similar, by that notion, Matt, before this, we were that. We were the top minions potentially of our era. I don't know, man. I don't want to believe that. But who knows? I have to keep that on the table. Matt, you could have been some asshole son of a beach, Duke or Earl or Duke of Earl or King or something. You could have been sitting on some throne somewhere as some jerk king saying, "Bring these peasants in that didn't pay me my taxes. Why didn't you pay me? We don't have any money, Sire McKinley. We don't have any money. Bring out the hungry rats and set their feet in the buckets." Maybe I did all that. I don't want to believe that. I don't know. But if we're talking about progression, I mean, this reality is a lot more complicated than a linear scale where you just go from, it's like that mountain climber in the Price is Right game. Remember, the mountain climber had to go up, and if you got to a certain point, you got the new car or whatever, and they play the stupid jingle as the mountain climber climbed that piece of cardboard, piece of shit that went up the side. I mean, I hope it's not a linear progression on simple X and Y axis, but if it is, you and me were that. We played the minion role potentially at some point before we've said, I've had enough of this bullshit. I've had enough of these material pleasures. I don't need another magenta speedboat or a sick act on the back of it. And maybe we progress. It's possible. And again, Tony made it very clear to me. He says, these people, they're role players. Okay, they will someday. It could take what we know of as trillions of years, billions, millions. They'll get to where you are, Matt. They'll leave behind the DOS prompt and the ability to seek fame and fortune and sick acts, and they'll say, I've had enough of this. They will someday, most likely, it seemed the way that Tony communicated, and it did resonate with me. They'll get to where you guys are. They'll just say this is bullshit. It's moving away from material realities. It's moving the spiritual progression, of course. It always has to be about moving away from the things of a physical world or a material world or something ridiculous like a hard-on. Or I mean, come on, is that ultimately, if God broke itself up into trillions and trillions of pieces, it ultimately just to experience a hard-on? I mean, moving away. I mean, it's a slow process. It may take multiple lifetimes, but we don't covet those things. I mean, we're doing the best we can to row away from the ship of fools. Its job is misery loves company, not just to give itself what it needs, its energy harvesting, its more material pleasures. It's to get everybody else to feed it, of course, on the ship of fools, but also to want what it wants, to covet what it covets, to create a society that it's very comfortable in. And that is the ship of fools concept. And unfortunately, it's technology and its spell, or however you want to call it, or whatever means it has at its disposal, the weaponization of the internet. Now we have the AI. It's getting a little out of control. And I mean, it is possible if we didn't leave that ship of fools when we did. We've left now at this point. I mean, I continue to oil the sword, continue to polish the armor, but if we stopped, I think we still would be okay. I don't think any trick could ever fool us at this point. I think it's important to stay trained, right? I mean, at some point, a Rocky or Apollo Creed, even if they gain 50 pounds and eat the bonbons or whatever, they're still going to be able to kick somebody's ass in a bar or whatever. But you still should stay trained, right? And maybe that's this channel's to a degree is training. I mean, I say the same things over and over again. To me, reality is a half page. It's amazing this channel still exists. If we didn't have a few laughs here and there, I'd be long gone like shit through a goose. There'd be nothing here. The old guards heard this shit a million times, but it is fascinating. And if it is, and it's 50% comes from me, 50% comes from everything that all of you shared. If we're somewhat close as to how this reality works in terms of some of the things that are put forth here, in terms of how I put it out and how your comments come back, if we're close, then how can it possibly be talked about too much?